Hello, everybody. Hello, YouTube. Hello, art history enthusiasts and visual culture aficionados. It's me again, Miss M, and I'm back with yet another video. This time, whoo, this time, viewers and listeners, wonderful people, I am going to finally do a part 7 for my Understanding the Shining series. And I tried to do this last week. I did. But the damn thing didn't take. I did an almost 2-hour video. Then I went to upload it. And the audio was complete shit. So I have to do it all over again. And I was just so angry and frustrated and disgusted that my original video just didn't go through. And I just said, you know what, forget this. I have other things to do. I had to go work. I had to go do this. I had to go do it. And oh, it's been chaos for me all year. And, you know, when I finally switch this recorder on and get to doing one of my videos, it's like I always say, or I often say, it is a form of therapy. I don't know what I would do without this. I've got so much stuff going on. Like tomorrow, I new stove, old stove just died. And after the stove died, and I purchased a new stove, and they're gonna bring it tomorrow and install it. Guess what? Dishwasher's acting funny now too. Always something. Always something. But you know, I'll get through it. I always do. So this particular video is brought to you care of Senor Boxy. Okay, hello Boxy. Hi Miss Sam, thank you so much for another upcoming Shining Analysis video. Looking forward to it, smiley face. Okay, see Boxy has a way of getting me to get to work. And switch on the recorder and actually do what I'm supposed to be doing. Thank you, Boxy. And by the way, like, okay, you see the sidebar, so like you could see the kind of the stuff that I'm into. Yes, Real Housewives. Of course, you know I love Alexander Rogers. You know, I want to really watch this one, the Vice one. Ooh, this looks good. Yes, Bailey. Yes, all this stuff. This, I don't even know. Oh, it's a Turkish, I think, food channel. And my current favorite song, It's a Shame by the Spinners. But, you know, I'm going to get into it. I'm going to get into part 7 of this film. And that will be covering 3 minutes in my copy of the movie, from minutes 18 to minute 21. And as you can see, I've got my PowerPoint presentation all ready to go. That is the first slide, okay, out of, how many slides do I have? A lot. I have a lot. That's the first slide out of 137. This is the last slide. So this is where we're gonna finish, and this is where we're gonna start. All right. So periodically I might have to take little breaks to watch the movie and get an idea for the dialogue again, because the dialogue it's, you know, yes, I'm analyzing the pictures. The pictures are important, so I'm analyzing the images. That's my number one priority here while I do this. However, the dialogue is important too, because the dialogue kind of, without the dialogue, the pictures don't make much sense, or without the pictures, the dialogue doesn't make much sense. So I do refer to like what's being discussed by the characters that you're seeing in these stills. So that's that. Yes. But before I get to all of that, let me just emphasize, I'm not gonna go ahead and do like an overt promotion of anything that I find on my affiliate stuff like Amazon or whatever. I'm gonna leave links in the description. That's my, it's going to say paid promotion, but I'm not going to tell you what it is. It's going to be something art related. It's going to be something art, culture, visual culture, art history related. And you're just going to have to go into the description and find out what it is. you, you might be surprised. I might be surprised because I don't know what I'm going to put yet, but I don't want to torture you with, commercials. Even though I'm not monetized yet, not even close. 88 subscribers though, which is better than before. It's slowly climbing, and thank you, those of you who have subscribed. Thank you for subscribing. And let me just get the church announcements right out of the way. Yes, go ahead and look in the description of this video to see what it is that I'm kind of flogging this time. But returning viewers, thank you for returning. New viewers, thank you for being new. Subscribers, thank you for subscribing. And all of you, please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share the video if you're into it. And if you know somebody who also might be into it, let them know. Send them a link, whatever, embed it, whatever. I appreciate it very much if you do that. I was just kind of looking at this, right? And I have my uploads here, like my latest uploads. The Boris and Natasha one is, kind of semi-popular, where I talk about Erica, Jane, and Tom Girardi. But my, art crime videos, not nearly as popular as my other ones. This Boxy was commenting under the Donald Trump and Bonwit Teller true crime video. But I'm looking at my popular uploads, and as you can see, almost all of them are Shining or Shining related. So, I guess that's where I'm gonna be getting the most fans or subscribers. The most popular of the popular videos is the Understanding the Shining Part 4, the Mystery Solved video. So, I guess the clickbait title worked, huh? The Mystery Solved. Yeah. What mystery? I still don't know what mystery we're talking about. But so I'm going to be putting in the description whatever it is that I found art related, arts and culture related on Amazon that I think you'll enjoy. I've been finding really good books, really good artworks, stuff like that, so I think you'll enjoy it. But today we're in the part of the movie where I need to discuss this. Okay? A lot of reviewers and people have discussed this. This 3 minutes that I'm covering today. We're going to cover that. Okay. There's something to discuss about this. And I got this article on the AFI catalog. The AFI catalog of feature films, the first 100 years, 1893 to 1993. And they have The Shining, if you're interested. I'm going to leave this in the description too, the link to this. Jack Nicholson, Shelley Duvall, Danny Lloyd, Stanley Kubrick, director, writer, and producer, and accompanying him for the writing task is somebody named Diane Johnson. They did a great job, by the way. And I looked this up for a reason. Okay? I looked this up for a reason, and I'll tell you what that reason is when we get to that part of the slides, where I cover that part of the slides for the movie, right? Excuse me. Excuse me. I had to cough. My last Shining video is this one, part 6, Evil Wendy, Dope, Virginia Slim, Subliminal Ads, and Body Language. This is, again, not nearly as popular as part 4, but of course, those of you who like it, like it. Today, like I said, what am I covering? What am I covering? Where it starts at the 18-minute mark and it ends at the 21-minute mark for these slides that I'm doing. And now this is the first one. Okay. I got through with the church announcements. I got through telling you that there is a paid promotion. If you want to know what it is, go ahead and click on it. I got through telling you what links I'm going to put into the description box. So I think I've done everything that I need to do. So let's get into it. I don't know how long this is going to last. I'm going to try my best. I hope this damn thing takes this time. Pazuzu, please be with me and help me through this. This is the part of the movie, right after Wendy's quote-unquote interview with that doctor woman. And Jack got the job. They're in the car. They're driving towards the hotel. They've shuttered up their old life and the apartment in, I think, Boulder, Colorado, and they've packed everything into that little yellow Volkswagen Beetle, and they are checking up the mountain road to get to the Overlook Hotel in God knows where. I don't think it has, like, they don't tell us what city or what town or whatever the Overlook Hotel is. And please don't tell me, oh, it's in the novel. I don't care about the novel. I really don't. I don't. I don't care about the novel and what Stephen King has to say. I care about what Stanley Kubrick has to say. Stanley Kubrick, as far as I know, you can correct me if I'm wrong, and I welcome that, you know that, but Stanley Kubrick does not tell us what city in Colorado, what city the Overlook Hotel is located in. All right, for the purpose of this, I only care about Stanley Kubrick and what he has to say via his what he shows us in his movie The Shining. We don't know where the Overlook Hotel is. It's in the middle of freaking nowhere. Is it even a town? Can that even be considered a town? How remote it is and how far the hell away from everything it is. What is that place called? Middle of nowhere, Colorado, USA? I don't know. But here they are in the car driving up the mountain. And, they all look at this. I've talked about sleep deprivation already. All right, look at her. She's yawning. Okay, and he looks like he could use a nap too. Jack Nicholson. Or in the movie, Jack Torrance. I had a French professor one time. And that's how she pronounced that word. Not Torrance, no, Torrance. Maybe that's what I should call them now. Torrance. And Danny, he's, kind of like hanging out, whatever. And they're dressed to impress for their first day at the Overlook Hotel. It's closing day of the hotel. This is the last day the hotel is open and functioning. I don't think they have any guests staying. They're shutting down the hotel. They're cleaning everything, preparing the hotel for the winter. And the family, the Torrance family, is on their way, and they're going to show the family the hotel and give them instructions on how to run the hotel, and etc., and so on and so forth. And here we are. Everybody looks sleepy to me. Everybody looks sleepy. Oh, or just like kind of zombied out. The kid doesn't look like he's really like there. And the father, Jack, he's concentrated on the task of driving the car to their location. Now, I just watched this little bit of it, and in the background of this, you see all of the greenery, all of the trees and whatever in the mountains they're driving up. And yes, he looks sleep deprived. She looks sleep deprived. I wonder why. And look at him. He's stifling a yawn. Danny is stifling a yawn. John. No, not John. Jack is wearing his colors, the green, the browns, these earthy colors. And she is mimicking him, if you really think about it. She's wearing this beige, like, I think that's a cowl neck sweater, and she's wearing a brown jacket on top of her sweater. And, she's kind of mimicking his colors here because she wants maybe to project to the world what he projects to the world in his choice of colors. The boy is wearing blue. All right, so blue is kind of, I've come to think of it as Wendy's color. Blue and red are Wendy's colors. That's how we're introduced to her in the movie. She's wearing blue and red. And those moccasins. I told you, she looks exactly like Goofy. And they're driving up here, and she says something like, oh, the air is so different up here. They're climbing up the mountain. They're getting higher and higher in altitude. And as you get higher and higher in altitude, the air gets thinner. The air feels different when you get farther and farther up away from sea level. Right, and see, he's stifling a yawn, I guess. I don't know why he's doing that. I mean, did the people directing him tell him to stifle his yawn, Danny? Or is he doing that naturally? Or I don't know what's going on. But I did think it was worth mentioning. And she looks at Jack. Wendy looks at Jack. And he's like focused on the road. And she says, the air up here is so different. And I'm just, look at how much of this there is. Like, again, extreme close-up, right, of the family. And this is a perfect opportunity for that, for the director, for the filmmaker. They're all stuffed in this car together, cramped. They can't get away from each other in this tiny little, again, Volkswagen Beetle. And you see the family dynamic. You see how they interact with each other, how they converse with each other, what they say to each other, and what's going on. So, this is the part of the movie where they're driving in the car up the mountain, trying to get to the Overlook Hotel. And Danny, he says, Dad, I'm hungry. And Jack's response is, well, you should have eaten your breakfast at home. Yeah? You should have eaten your food. You should have eaten your breakfast. And that's a typical father-like reaction. Like, that's how fathers are. They're very practical. They're very logical. They don't have time for, at least in the traditional sense, like, they don't have time to coddle the child. That's the mother's job. The father's very practical and matter-of-fact and business-oriented. And the mother's like, oh, no, I'll get you food. And that's what happens, too. He says, I'm hungry. And Jack says, yeah, you shouldn't eat. You should have eaten your breakfast, right? This is that exchange, right? And I know this because he turns his head, looks at his father. He says, Dad, I'm hungry. And he says, well, you should have eaten your breakfast. And that's the kid's reaction, yeah? And then Wendy says, don't worry, we'll get you something as soon as we get to the hotel. And then after that, that's kind of a lot of analysts for this movie make a lot of that. They say, oh, Jack's a terrible father. He's a terrible father because he told his son he should have eaten his breakfast. No, he's not. That doesn't make him a terrible father. That makes him, like, a pretty typical father. Yeah? Like, trying to teach the child responsibility, trying to teach the child, yeah, there are consequences to your actions. If you don't eat when there's food on the table, then later there might not be any food and you're going to be hungry. So eat when it's mealtime, okay? Like, that's a normal father reaction. That's not a bad father. And after that, after he says, I'm hungry, and he says, okay, you should have eaten your breakfast. And here comes Wendy. There she is, turning her head towards her husband, Jack. And she says, isn't this where the Donner Party got stranded? Is it? Yeah, that's what she says. Danny says, I'm hungry. Jack says, you should have eaten your breakfast. Then Wendy says, we'll get you something when we get to the hotel. Okay. And then Wendy says, isn't this where the Donner Party got stranded? Excuse me? And that seems like whatever. That seems like, okay, like a whatever thing to say. But please bear in mind, viewers, listeners, Shining aficionados, shiners, yeah? Please bear in mind that everything you're hearing, every little bit of dialogue that you're hearing in this movie, it was put there for a reason. Stanley Kubrick and Diane Johnson, when they put this dialogue, they weighed and measured every single word that they included. That is my belief. I think that's what they did. They didn't just pick words and pick subjects for dialogue haphazardly. No. I think that they made sure to put in something that would have every word or every little bit of the dialogue would be packed with some kind of meaning. That is my belief. That's what's going on. I think that's what's going on. And here, after they just got talking about being hungry and having breakfast, here comes Wendy and she mentions the dinner party. Like, what part of the breakfast conversation in her brain triggered a reference to the dinner party? And she says, "Oh, isn't this where the Donner Party got snowbound?" And then Jack is like, here he is answering. He says, "No, that was farther west in the Sierras. All right, I think the Sierra Nevada mountains." And Wendy's like, "Oh, okay." And then here comes Danny again. Okay, listen. Danny, the children always have more questions. They always have questions. Then when you answer those first questions, then they have follow-up questions. That's just how children are. That's what makes them children, and they're so inquisitive and curious. They always want more information. And here comes Danny, and he says, "What was the donor party?" And Jack, he's like a very practical father, he explains to the boy that the Donner Party were a group of settlers in covered wagon times who they were moving out west and they got snowbound in the mountains. And yeah, snowbound means that the snow made it impossible for them to travel any further. So then after they got snowbound, they had to resort to cannibalism in order to survive. Okay, now, and this is a true story. This is what happened. And here he is explaining the Jack Nicholson and his eyebrows. That's what I said in the video that didn't take. I hope this one takes. Jack Nicholson and his eyebrows, that man's eyebrows should be insured for millions of dollars. They're a big part of his whatever it is that he does when he's acting. Jack Nicholson, if he had a little bit different eyebrows, it would not be the same thing. His eyebrows are perfect. Look at the high arch of these eyebrows. His whole face is very unique. You say what you will about Jack Nicholson, he's a class, number one kind of actor, because he's very talented. He's very talented. He's very unique. His voice is that flat kind of sarcastic voice, and the eyebrows to match. His voice is very flat, but the eyebrows actually, I'm sorry, no, they don't match. The eyebrows are very expressive, and they arch up very high. And he has those teeth, and we see those teeth when he busts through the door with his axe, and he says, "Hey, here's Johnny." Okay, cool. But his whole face is just very unique and just perfect for what he does for a living, acting. So he has this very flat affect when he speaks, but when his facial expressions are kind of the opposite, especially these eyebrows and that mouth. He played the Joker he played the Joker for a reason. They didn't even have to do that much with the makeup for the Joker role. I mean, yeah, they painted his face white and all of this, but those eyebrows kind of speak for themselves. And this is not the first time that we'll see his eyebrows in action. And he's explaining the Donner Party. Yeah, they got snowbound, covered wagon times, settlers, snowbound, and they had to resort to cannibalism in order to survive. And here comes Danny's process. Oh, look at that face. Oh, and Danny's kind of listening and processing all of this. And here's Jack Nicholson's face after he's done explaining to, a 4-year-old boy, what the Donner Party was. Or, the character Jack Torrance, explaining to Danny Torrance what the Donner Party was. And then he's kind of just pleased with himself for having basically horrified a 4-year-old. and the Danny, and look at this Wendy. Look at this Wendy. She's listening to the whole thing. Okay. And look at this look of concern on her face. And it's, and I'm like, Wendy, now, you're the one who brought this up. Okay, Wendy? You're the one who mentioned the Donner Party. Don't look surprised when he explains to the boy what it was. After the boy asks him, all right, why didn't you stop him before? Um, so Jack explains what the Donner Party was, and Danny is like, "Oh, you mean they ate each other up?" And Jack says, "Well, they had to in order to survive." And here again, Wendy in that face. Oh, and Wendy's like, "Jack," and basically admonishing her husband very gently, admonishing her husband for explaining what the Donner Party was and mentioning cannibalism. And Danny says to his mother, "It's okay, Mom. I know all about cannibalism. I saw it on TV." And here's that look at these eyes, these dead ass eyes. Um, Jack Nicholson's eyes. Him and Boris Karloff have those dead eyes, you know. And here's, Danny's saying, no, it's okay. I know all about all of that. I know all about cannibalism. I heard it on television. I saw it on television. And then Jack is like, "See, no problem." Look at the eyebrows. He says, "No problem. See, he saw it on television." Oh, it's a cute little joke, isn't it? Cute little joke. Oh, look at the eyebrows. And look at her dopey ass eyes too. Like, what the hell? Oh my God. So, I mean, I always wonder whether or not what I'm doing with this movie and these understanding the Shining episodes and going frame by frame, almost frame by frame through these 3-minute segments of the movie. Like, am I doing anything of any value? Like, there are things that I am seeing, and you too are probably seeing as you watch this or listen to this, and you see these stills, these screenshots that you wouldn't notice from just watching the movie as it's running. These film stills, these screenshots that I'm doing with my little PowerPoint presentations, because I figured out it's just easier to put all of this in a PowerPoint presentation and show it to you that way. There are little micro moments that maybe we wouldn't see if we, again, like just watching the movie as it's running. One thing I have noticed, as an aside, while I'm talking about this, is one time I was watching this movie. I just put it on, like as background noise, while I was sitting on the couch and doing something else. I was doing paperwork. I was doing something that required me to sit down and rifle through, like a bunch of just papers and sorting things. I don't know if I was doing my taxes or paying bills or something, just going through a lot of papers. Or was it for work? I don't know. And I put the movie on. And this task that I was doing took me a good long time. The movie runs, like I said, at least 2 hours, I think. And I put the movie on, and I don't know what it was. I don't know how I was watching it. Was it like a streaming service, or I don't know. I don't remember. But I put the movie on, and I got to work with my pen and my papers and all this stuff. And I said, "What in the world? I can't hear this very well." And so I got my remote control, and I turned up the volume so I could hear this first part of the movie, the dialogue, all this stuff. I wanted to hear it because I wasn't really watching it. I was putting it on for background noise, but yeah, I wanted the noise. I wanted to hear the movie. And I was working, turned the volume up so I could hear. And even after I turned the volume up, it was still kind of faint. And I said, "Something's wrong with my television. Something's wrong with my speakers. I need to like look into this. There's something wrong with my TV. I can't hear this very well, even though I've turned it up pretty high. I should be able to hear it pretty well." And I kept working on my papers. And at a certain point in the movie, I'll tell you when we get to it. At a certain point in the movie, the sound got so loud. I didn't touch the remote. I left the volume at a certain level, and I put the remote off to the side, and I worked on my papers. And then at a certain point in the movie, as it was running, all of a sudden, kaboom, the volume was way too high. And I said, "Oh my God." And then I had to like scramble to get my remote to turn it down because it was so loud after being like too quiet or too faint for a good while for the movie. And I said, wait a minute. I didn't touch that remote control. I didn't touch the volume. What the hell? And I said, I didn't do that. I didn't touch the volume. That's Stanley. Stanley wants you. He did that deliberately. He did that on purpose. He made the first, like, certain part of the movie. I don't exactly know how many minutes or, like, whatever, but he made a good, that first, I don't know, I'll go ahead and guess and say first good third of the movie, quiet and faint as far as the audio is concerned. And then at a certain point in the movie, all of a sudden, loud, 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 loud. Yeah? The music, very loud, very loud. And it makes you take note. It makes you jump if you're not paying attention. If you're not watching the screen and you're doing something else like I was, and all of a sudden the volume gets so high and you didn't touch it, it gets a reaction out of you. So not only is Stanley Kubrick manipulating the visuals, manipulating the images and what you see and the colors and the composition and cinematography or whatever's going on. I'm not a film person. But he's also manipulating the audio, the volume of each and every scene. And I want to know why. Now, again, we're in the quiet part of the movie. This is all exposition, as we would say. Yeah, this is all just letting you know, like, kind of the background. Or not, they're not even letting you know. Stanley isn't letting you know the background. He's implying the background. He's implying, like, what kind of relationships are going on with his family and the dynamic. And he's putting them in this cramped little space. This VW, Volkswagen, Beetle, yellow Beetle. So they're very close to each other. They're all three of these people, their heads are in the same frame. All right. And they're driving up in this car, the VW yellow Beetle, up to the Overlook Hotel. And behind them, constantly through these windows, you see the nature. Yeah, you see the land and the trees and the sky and etc. I don't know if I've mentioned this in another video, but all of this stuff surrounding the hotel, this nature surrounding the hotel, the trees, the earth, the whatever it is in the land, these are all natural resources. So they're passing by miles and miles and miles and miles of natural resources. Just the lumber in these trees, and then them three in this, and since the car is called a beetle, an insect, like I told you, the Imamura movie about the woman who comes from poverty and she kind of breaks into prostitution and whatever. I think it's called The Human Insect or something, and it's about the woman. She's a human insect, and the beetle, a beetle in nature, is an insect, and they're in the inside of this insect, this symbolic insect, the beetle. Are they in the belly of the beetle or whatever? I don't know. Beetles, I don't know if John Kim is probably watching. Beetles also have to do with ancient Egypt. Yeah. The scarab beetle. There's so many different kinds of beetles. But what's going on? They're inside of this car, driving up to the Overlook Hotel. And also, as they're driving up, you see through the window all the nature they're passing by. It gives you additionally, it sort of emphasizes how far away this hotel is from all other signs of life, human life. So far away from the city, from civilization, from roads, amenities. Or is that the right word, amenities? But like shops, grocery stores, hospitals, post offices, banks, everything that makes up like our daily lives as people living in cities and towns. That the hotel is nowhere near these places. Not even close. They're driving farther and farther and farther away. So, and now, as far away as they're driving, imagine, they can get through this road. The road is open because the weather is good. But just imagine getting up this mountain when it's the dead part of winter and it's covered in several feet of snow and ice. Yeah, this place is more or less inaccessible, other than this one road. And I think the question that I asked in the video that didn't do very well, that I had to throw out, the people in the movie, in the world of the movie, the people who built the hotel, would this road that they're traveling on, would it even exist if it weren't for the hotel? That's what I'm thinking. That's what I'm thinking, right? And here's Jack. Yeah, I think he's, yeah, there he is. That's that face. He's like, oh yeah, see, no problem. He heard about it on television, right? The kid said, oh, don't worry, Mom. I know all about cannibalism. I heard it on TV. And Jack is like, see, no big deal. He heard about it on television. Huh. And now television was the internet of its day. Now we're worried about what children will see on the internet. Back then, in the late 70s when this movie was made, people were still kind of wringing their hands and having moral crises over what their children were going to watch on television. Ooh, if they only knew how innocent those times were compared to now. Oh, there go her eyes again. Why is she always rolling her eyes back? Is this Stanley Kubrick's direction? This looks very deliberate to me. Or maybe not. What do I know? Why do her eyes always look so dopey? I'm telling you, I think she's on coke. All right. And here he is, like, again, he has this indescribable facial expression. What is this? What emotion is this? Is he perplexed? Is he annoyed? Is he angry? No, it doesn't really look like anger, but it looks like some kind of frustration. I don't know. I just don't know. And by the way, Wendy there he is again. Wendy is the one who brought this subject up. Wendy is the one who had to go and mention the Donner Party. After what I just tell you. After this here, Danny, he said, I'm hungry. And the father said, you should have eaten your breakfast. And her first thought is the Donner Party. And then I said that a minute ago. And then I explained like what Jack says to the boy. When he asks, what's the Donner Party? Jack explains it's covered wagon times, settlers, cannibalism. Okay. So the Donner Party is synonymous with cannibalism. That is an integral part of the story of these people in covered wagon times who were moving out west, got snowbound in the Sierras, and had to resort to cannibalism in order to survive. And then Danny says they ate each other up, and Jack says again, yes, they had to do it to survive. He uses the word survive twice. Okay? And she's the one who brought it up. And that her mention of the Donner Party was triggered by the boy saying he's hungry. The Donner Party, synonymous with cannibalism. Cannibalism is people eating people. That, in her mind, was triggered by him saying he's hungry. Am I reading too much into this? Viewers and listeners, am I reading too much into this? Have I lost my mind? And I wouldn't be shocked if that was the case, because I've been going through a lot lately. So this makes me question even further, even more deeply. What is wrong with this woman? This character, Wendy. Not Shelley Duvall. No, Shelley Duvall is playing this character. But the Wendy character. What is wrong with her? Her son says he's hungry, and the first thing she thinks of is cannibalism. The fuck? Shit. Something's wrong. And here he is again with that look. Oh, this man's face. This man's face. Look at him. Look at him. he's kind of over it. He's like, whatever, y'all, no. And he has his, like, again, sarcastic little tone in his voice all the time. He's driving his car, you know, the Volkswagen Beetle. And I'm kind of wondering, like, why they picked the Volkswagen Beetle. Isn't that the Hitler car? Isn't that when the Volkswagen was made in, like, World War II era Germany? Is that an additional kind of thing that you don't notice right away because it was such a popular car in the United States? Still is. Volkswagen is still like a pretty popular brand of automobile. But especially back then, everybody had a Beetle. Everybody had a Beetle, or they had one of those Volkswagen vans, you know. I don't know. I don't know. Okay, so they're fading out. This is a fade shot. Whatever, I don't know what it's called. Like the real technical word, fade shot. That's what I call it. And they're fading away from the family in the car. They just had their cute little conversation about breakfast and cannibalism. And here we're looking at the mountains again, and this road. You can see it, yes? Kind of slicing through these mountains. And they're driving farther and farther up. And look at these clouds. This is not fall. I'm not a alpinist, so I don't know very much about mountains and how they work or whatever. But in my opinion, based on what I'm looking at, this isn't even fog. This is just clouds. They're getting so high up that the place where they're going to is literally surrounded by clouds. Jesus. And they're again driving up this road. You emphasize again, it's a Volkswagen yellow Beetle, and I don't know what this is over here. This thing that the car is about to pass on the road here. I don't know what that is. I do not know what that is, but it's a thing. It's a thing. And did the movie production people put it there, or was it there anyway and they just like worked with it? I don't know. And again, I don't know what it is. He already passed something like this when he was driving to his interview, but that was an ambulance. That was a station wagon, ambulance, white. Now this, I don't know what it is. I wish if y'all know, please help me. Let me know in the comments what this thing is that the car is passing right here. And again, so we're getting higher and higher up in the mountains. What is it about mountains? Mountains are where the gods live. In many mythologies, from all over the world, mountains are high up. They're the natural, like, earth formation that is closest to the heavens. It's closest to the sky, right? So they're thought to be the place where the gods live and frolic and get angry and have arguments. And when the gods have arguments up in the mountain, like Mount Olympus, or what is it, like Mount Fuji, like there's a lot of sacred mountains on planet Earth. When the gods living up in the mountains, they get angry and have fights, it spills down over into the world of the mortals down below. And that's how you get things like the Trojan War and stuff like that. So, interesting that this hotel in the middle of nowhere, in the middle of frickin' nowhere, is in the mountains, high up in the mountains, high up in altitude, and they're very difficult to access. You have this one road, and one road only, that you use to get to that building. Okay? In the middle of nowhere, high up in the mountains. So after this particular picture of this, they're passing by this thing. I don't know what it is. Then we get this. And this is where I take my little break. So I'm going to be right back and continue with this. Hold on. Stay tuned. Okay, people. I'm back. Took a little break, drank a little coffee. Here I am again. Now, I told you, fade in from this to this. So, once again, Stanley, our Stanley, is showing us this building. Okay, he's showing us basically the entirety of the building with all these cars here and this, what do we call this, a valley, or this like this is the edge where the cars are. This is the edge of the parking lot, and right beneath the edge of the parking lot you could tumble down here, you know, if you want to roll down here. There's some more trees over here. There's this part of the building over here. We don't know what's here. Probably not a maze. That's my point. We don't see a maze. There's no maze. There's a parking lot with a good number of cars there. And the building itself mimics the mountaintop behind it with this cloud moving in or moving out. I don't know. I'm not sure. And again, no maze. No maze in the front. And we saw that aerial shot earlier in the movie. No maze in the back either, from what we can tell. No recreational facilities. No tennis court. No basketball court. No pool. No, nothing like that. No golf course. Like I said, this is the funniest freaking resort ever, or hotel ever. It's in the middle of like absolutely nowhere, and there's nothing to do. There's no shops, there's no restaurants, there's no theaters, there's no sporting activities. They, you know, what did the interview with Jack and Stuart Oldman, Jack said, well, why don't you guys do skiing over the winter? This place would be perfect for skiing. Yeah, it's mountains. There's plenty of snow. Why didn't they do skiing? Well, the people who built the hotel at the time, they really weren't into really. Okay, cool. This shot is to emphasize the lack of a maze, in my opinion. And then we go from this to this, and then we do another fade in from the exterior shot of the hotel where we cannot see any maze. We can see all these cars, trees, whatever. Maybe this area where the maze should be, or in the back you don't see any sign of a maze, and we didn't see any sign of it with the aerial shot earlier in the movie. We see all these cars, but those cars probably belong to the employees who are on their last day of work before the hotel shuts down for the winter. So these are not the cars of hotel guests. These are the cars of the people who work there. And that parking lot looks full to me. And over here you can see the bright yellow, and that's maybe another reason why the car has to be such a bright yellow color, so you can spot it and differentiate it from all these other kind of duller colored cars. This is probably the Torrance's car over here at the very end. This was probably the only space left, so they parked there. And so all these cars are probably from employees that are, this is the last day of work for them until May 1st, right? Another question I asked, I'm trying to remember like some of the things I said in the video that I had to throw out. Like, okay, this is the parking lot. This is all employee parking. Probably all these cars are here during the opening season of the hotel. And if all these cars are presumably here while the hotel is operational for its open season, okay, so where do the guests park? You know? That's one question I had. Where do the guests park? Do the guests even park? Do the guests even come in their own personal vehicles? Their own personal automobiles? Or do they get driven here and dropped off? And then when they're done doing whatever, yeah, done staying at the hotel and entertaining themselves or being entertained at the hotel. You know what I think about this place. When they're done, do they get picked up again and taken back down the mountain and back to civilization? I don't know. But I told you I have questions. And when I have questions, I voice them. All right. And here, so we do a fade in. So this hotel, it mimics the mountain. This highest part of the roof mimics this mountaintop behind it. Same kind of point, right? And then we fade into this and fade into this, and we pan over, and the highest part of the roof, the part that mimics the mountain, and then we see this ladder, where that is. That, again, I don't believe that's an accident. Yeah, I don't believe that's an accident. Stanley Kubrick does not make accidents. I have come to believe this fully and thoroughly with my whole heart, that Stanley Kubrick does not make accidents. Or make accidents. Stanley Kubrick doesn't make mistakes. Period. Period. That's how I feel. That's what I believe. And what we fade into this shot of this ladder. Is the ladder significant of something? Is the ladder... I think some people, some more conspiracy-minded people who review or analyze this movie say, oh, this ladder has to do with something occult or something to do with like secret societies, maybe like Freemasonry. I don't know. I don't know if I believe that. I don't know if I agree with that. I think the ladder is symbolic of maybe nothing like that. Maybe it's just letting you know that there's a parallel to this ladder and this structure outside of the hotel, right? It's to climb. To climb, that's what ladders are for. They're for climbing. And climbing the ladder, maybe like that's a allegory, like is that or a metaphor? Not an allegory, metaphor, like the metaphor climbing to success. I don't know. And there's this man here. He's in overalls. He's mopping the floor. So they're cleaning up the hotel and putting everything away on the last day, getting it ready for the winter. There's all these boxes. I think that's a bucket. And this man is mopping precisely this diamond-shaped thing in the middle of the floor, the tile work or whatever that is on the floor. This is the front desk of the hotel with these very dark, I don't know, what is that, mahogany or some kind of dark wood color. And these like red-orange pillars with the Z at the top of the pillar. Is the Z symbolic of something? Is the Z supposed to make us think of the letter of the alphabet, Z? Or is it maybe supposed to make us think of like a Nordic, or not Nordic, Norse rune, right? I have to look up which one it is. I'm pretty sure this is maybe a rune or something like that. But again, I'm not going to waste time trying to figure that out because that's just a speculation on my part, whether or not this Z pattern up here is a rune or the letter Z or... I think these have also been seen in like ancient sites, like ancient architecture. This is like some kind of joining thing for the masonry. Oh dear. For the stones that make up these old sites. I'm not sure. Correct me if I'm not. I don't know if I'm wrong. I'm just speculating. But let me know if you know more about this. I would really appreciate that. Again, boxes, boxes, boxes. I don't know what kind of boxes. I don't know what for, but there they are. These chandeliers, there's many of them in this lobby area. It's a wheel with spokes, yeah? And then the chandelier is being held with what looks like a chain on the ceiling. And then there's these, what look like candles, but they're not really candles. They have light bulbs that are candle flame shaped. And they're all turned off. None of these lights in the lobby, none of these chandeliers are switched on. Over here we have a sconce, but this is another area. This is another space. This is when you cross this threshold over here, that's no longer the lobby. This is the lobby here. All right, and it's a mess, right? They're putting stuff away, and we're panning over, yeah, to the right. Going over. This is the man mopping the floor. He's a worker. He's a man. He's obviously not young. And then we have another worker rolling on by with this thing on this wheels, whatever it is. Are those patio furnitures that he's bringing in from the outside? Are they mattresses? Like, what is this? There's no way for us to tell. At least not right away. That would take a little research or a lot of research. But they're here and they're kind of belted down in this cart, and he's rolling them across the space. This other worker, yeah, again, somebody who's a little bit older, not a young man, older man, rolling, yeah, and we see, yeah, chandelier, ladder, lobby, man with the mop, boxes, the symbols or whatever that is on the floor of the lobby, This man is moving past, and as he moves by, the guy with what I presume are mattresses, and there's another worker here. Okay, I don't know what he's doing, but he's there. Also climbed up on like some kind of ladder, working on something. Here come Ullman and Watson. Ullman on the right, Watson on the left. And again, outside of the lobby, these chandeliers are lit. But like once you pass these, this area, this threshold made by these two walls over here, then in this room, for some reason, the lobby, there's no light. I think that's symbolic of something. So Jack, this is where we first find Jack in the hotel. They're walking, and please don't tell me that this is like just the fashion of the time, what Ullman is wearing. As he gets closer to us, you'll see what I mean. He looks odd to me. He looks odd to me. Here comes another man with another table. I'm more convinced that this is like patio furniture that he's bringing in, so that the workers are bringing in, so it doesn't get destroyed by the winter, by the snow and ice and whatever other weather conditions that are bad during the winter. He's bringing these in, and Ullman and Watson keep getting closer to the camera. And again, there's this man on another ladder working on, I don't know what. Is he dusting this? I don't know. Or polishing. I don't know. And then here come them two. Okay, Ullman on the right, Watson on the left. And this over here, just I'll let you know right now so I don't forget. This back here, that's the scale model of this maze that so far in the movie, the external shots that we've seen of this hotel, we have yet to see a maze. But here's the scale model. And it was there when he was at the interview. When Jack was at the interview, I pointed it out. There was an old man looking down at this maze. Okay. All right, here comes Watson and Ullman. And then here comes this person over here. Right? Here comes this person over here, and another person. This is what I talked about in my last video. So they're approaching. Okay, Watson and Ullman, and then these two women. I think it's two women, come from the right side of the screen, and they're carrying bags. Okay, and this lady, she's wearing a white and red jersey. I don't know what sport. I don't know what team. It just looks like a sports jersey to me. And they walk by these two guys and they say, hello, Mr. Ullman, or goodbye, Mr. Ullman, something like that. I'm not sure. Why are they walking inside carrying bags? That's what I don't understand. They're walking inside. Shouldn't they be walking outside? Going outside with their bags because it's closing day. But that's, I might be reading too much into that. I don't know. There they go. And I don't know what number is on the woman who's wearing the jersey. I thought, okay, maybe it's 33. I don't know. I'm not sure because I can't see very well because half of it is covered by her bag. But is it a 33 or is it a 43? If it's a 33, okay, if you're into conspiracies and stuff, you know what that number means. I'm not going to explain it. If that is a 33 on her shirt, on her jersey that she's wearing. If it's not a 33. Excuse me, I had to adjust in my chair. If it's not a 33, I think it might be a 43. And if it's a 43, that's also interesting because Danny was wearing a jersey with the number 42 when he was brushing his teeth, when he allegedly passed out in the apartment and he had his alleged vision. He allegedly had his alleged vision in the bathroom before the doctor woman came in. And here's another man carrying another chair from outside. So again, maybe patio furniture. Okay, so if it's a 43, okay, and Danny was wearing a number 42, 43 comes after 42. That's significant. That's telling us that we're in the next, kind of segment of the movie. Okay, and here's Ullman. Look at his outfit. This is gross. Who wears red pants? I told you red is... a very important color in this movie. All right? Red is a very important color in this movie. And one of the reasons why it's important is because it's, to me, I think, there might be other explanations, or there might be several explanations that all work at the same time. But one of those explanations, I think that red symbolizes blood. And the lady wearing the jersey with, I think, of the number 43, well, that's red. Okay, so she's got red on her, these pillars, basically red. Basically almost the same color as Almond's pants. Red, blood. Why are his pants blood colored? I don't know what to think. So again, I think red pants, this jacket, this leather jacket, to me, in my opinion, I think that Ullman is dressed like a pimp from the late 1970s. And again, his hair is ridiculous. The guy who played this character, I forget his name, was it Barry Nelson or something? He didn't look like this. They made him look like this for this movie. His hair wasn't this ridiculous. And again, his hair very closely mimics the hair of the doctor woman who allegedly examined Danny. Sorry. Allegedly examined Danny and had a talk with Wendy in the living room, which I think is the interview parallel for Jack's interview. And that's why they look so much alike. And here he is, red pants, leather jacket. Is this a sweater poking out? I don't know. And again, this ridiculous hair. Is that even real hair? Is it a toupee? Or a wig? Or, I don't know. Adjusting in my chair again. So, yeah, I definitely think he looks very pimp-like, if you ask me. And here is the scene where, okay, Jack and the family have arrived at the hotel. All of this stuff behind them is the stuff, allegedly, that was packed into the Volkswagen Beetle. How did they get all of that in the car? I don't know. That's not a big car. A Volkswagen Beetle is not a big car. I don't know how this all fit in there. I know they say, like somebody says, I don't know, I don't remember who said it, but somebody said it. That like that's why Danny is kind of leaning over the front seat, because he's probably like behind him is all this stuff. Maybe. I cannot confirm or I don't know. I just don't know. Also, what I'm noticing right now, and I'll mention it because I'm noticing it right now. I've noticed this several times in the movie. These shapes in the molding on this wall, they look like crosses. They look like crosses. Is that significant? Is it significant at all? I don't know. But okay, so all that luggage and Danny's tricycle that he rides through the hotel. Blue, again, blue. Blue is Wendy's color, in my opinion. That's where I'm at right now regarding the color blue in this movie. And the color red, also one of Wendy's colors, but also the color of blood. Okay, and here's Jack in his muted colors, muted greens and browns and things. And he's eating a sandwich. This is, I guess, where the family had something to eat. That's what Wendy said, we'll get you something as soon as we get to the hotel. I guess that's what happened. On this end table. And this guy's carrying a chair. I don't know if that's significant. I have to think about it. For right now, I won't think about it. Okay, he's eating what's left of his sandwich. Here come Ullman and Watson. And they say, oh, they make small talk. Oh, did you just got in? Okay, great. And even had a chance to get a bite to eat. Okay, here's the dishes and the Coca-Cola. More red Coca-Cola. Like I keep saying that I think Wendy is dopey. On dope, maybe on coke, because that was like a very popular drug during the late 1970s. Is this more indication of Wendy's like problem, like what one of her problems is? I don't know. But it's red and it's there. And he's eating his sandwich, talking with Ullman and Watson. Okay, cool. And they're asking him questions. He's still got his sandwich in his hand. and he's got a magazine in his hand. That much has been made of this magazine. I said I would discuss this because this is the part of the movie where we see that magazine. Here it is. All right, he's eating it. I'm not eating it. He's not eating the magazine. He's eating a sandwich while he's reading the magazine. And people think, some researchers, analysts, whatever, think that this magazine, and wait a minute, am I missing like a bunch of stuff? Okay, no, so here's the woman walking away. Here's the man with the chair. Okay, cool. And notice that, like, the way this shot is framed, before I get into the magazine, don't worry, I won't forget. Look at, okay, so we have these pillars, and this pillar here is framing the three of them talking here. And then there's this little sliver of activity or view that you can see on this right side to the left of this pillar. And this, as the scene goes on, this gets narrower and narrower and narrower and narrower. But see, I'm showing you how much it gets narrower and narrower and narrower and narrower. And then we see people off to the side, on the other side of this pillar. Okay, so we just saw the man with the chair and the woman walking away with the number 43 on her jersey. Okay, cool. They're talking. And Jack's about to get up. That's the polite thing to do when your boss walks in. Okay, people don't have any manners anymore, but yeah, Jack obviously does. And then here comes this guy carrying what looks like a carpet or rolled up carpet. Again, over in this sliver on the left-hand side of the screen you're not paying attention to this as a viewer. You're not. Why Stanley left this little part open here on the left side of this pillar so you could just get a glimpse or an idea of what's going on over here to the left, I don't know. So, you're focused on this as the viewer, the three of them having a conversation. Jack getting up out of his chair, putting the magazine. And again, until most people mention it, you don't even realize that that's the magazine he's reading. You don't realize what magazine he's reading when he's eating his sandwich. But there's this over here that nobody ever talks about, or in my experience, from the stuff that I've watched and read, nobody ever talks about this part over here. Maybe because it's easy to miss. And like I said, the screenshot thing gives you like plenty of opportunity to notice stuff that's going on over here. And why did he leave this open? Why did Kubrick leave this open? We're focused on this, but there's stuff going on over here. You could barely see it. You have to strain to see it. And here's some more people. Look. There's, I think, another female. Okay, they're walking. Oh, there they are. Yeah. Actually, it's two women and I think a man. All right. And just as, like, this is the part. They're talking, right? He put the magazine down. He's, talking with his boss and his boss's assistant. Whatever. Bill Watson doesn't say hardly a word whenever we see him. He's just kind of there. And we don't understand why. We don't know what his title is in the hotel. We don't know what job he does. We don't know what he fulfills, what role he fulfills in the hotel. Bill Watson. He's just there. He doesn't say much. Is he Ullman's, like, is he the power behind the throne, Watson? Or is he like, the Ullman's gopher, like go do that, go do this, go do that, take care of that, take care of this. So Ullman just gets to stay in his chair and Watson does all the real work. I don't know. But there's these three walking, the two women and the man walking, and Ullman has just asked Jack, "Oh, did you get your luggage in? Did you get your luggage in?" And Jack, he looks over towards the luggage. The people are walking right in front of the luggage. And he says, "Oh, yeah, there it is." And as he gestures, "Oh, yeah, there it is," regarding the luggage, these people are right there in front of it. So he's kind of pointing at the luggage, but he's pointing at them at the same time as they walk past, like precisely. When he says, "Oh, yeah, there it is," he's pointing at the luggage. He's also pointing at these people, which is interesting to me. To me, I think, in my mind, I think that Stanley Kubrick is making a parallel between the luggage and the people. The people are the luggage. Okay, so not that the people are the people are not the Torrance family's luggage. No, but that in this world of this movie, in the Shining, at the Overlook Hotel, whatever's going on in this place, the people are on the same category as inanimate objects like luggage or furniture. Like that you see these workmen moving around and mopping and dusting and moving carpets and moving chairs and tables and whatever. The people in this hotel, presumably the employees, these are not guests. These are employees making their way out of the hotel because it's the last day it's open. But people are in the same category, on the same level as luggage and or other inanimate objects. And then they look towards it. He says, yeah, that's it right there. That's my luggage, right when the people are in front of it. Interesting. And then both of them, their eye line goes towards the big pile of luggage, their suitcases, their bags, whatever. Okay. And they're still looking. They're still looking. Are they? Yeah. And then they look back at Jack, right? And they say, okay, cool. So we're gonna, here's some more people. What's this? Look at this. Again, let me just show you. I'm at slide 90 right now. There's 137 slides. And like I said, I do 3-minute segments of the movie. Okay. 3-minute segments, 3 minutes, 3 times 60, that's 180. Seconds. So I'm doing 137 slides. I think I did pretty good, right? Only what? 23 slides shy of 180. So I think I did pretty good. So anyway, they're talking about the luggage. They're talking about, did you get in okay and whatever. Oh, and here comes some more people. Okay, here comes some more workmen. I think they're workmen. This one just whips by. Whoever this one is, he comes in and just moves across the screen very quickly. Because this guy, look, he's here. And then in the next frame, he's here. Okay, but this guy, you see him, and in the next frame, like, where'd he go? Okay, that's interesting. Anyway, so, and all the employees, yeah, like the young woman in the number 43 jersey and the people who were walking right in front of the luggage, they're all young and I guess you could say attractive. You know why I think that. Now, these worker people, where are they? Yeah, they're not that young, and they're definitely not considered like attractive. They're dressed like working people. They're dressed in overalls. They have their uniforms. They're probably part of like some kind of, I don't know, moving company or whatever that takes care of hotels. I don't know. But they're talking about, okay, cool. So, Ullman says, okay, like, let's get to this. We're going to show them around the hotel. And, he gives, I forget what he says, but he gives, Watson a command. And Watson says, fine. Yeah, he said this is the frame where Watson, one word of dialogue coming from Watson in this whole thing. The whole rest of the time, he's just standing there. Very similar to the interview scene. Watson comes in while Jack is being interviewed by Ullman. We don't know why Watson is there. He says like maybe just one sentence, sits down, and for the rest of the interview, he just sits there and looks at Jack like Jack is absolute human trash. Like he looks at Jack, Watson looks at Jack in their interview scene like Watson has this look of disgust on his face. Just absolute disgust. Now, Bill Watson. I just had like a light bulb moment. Sherlock Holmes, right? Sherlock Holmes, his assistant in the Sherlock Holmes stories is Watson. Am I wrong about that? Like, is it what? It's Sherlock Holmes and Watson is Sherlock Holmes' like de facto assistant. Um, is this the same kind of dynamic here? Is this the Sherlock Holmes? Is Ullman Sherlock, and is Bill Watson Watson? I mean, is that what's going on at this hotel? Is it not just a brothel? Is it like some kind of like, oh, I don't know, like law enforcement or intelligence operation going on, and these two are like the detectives, like keeping track of everything and everyone? I don't know. But I just had that idea that I'm not saying that's what's going on, but I'm saying that like they chose to name this person Watson. So Bill Watson. Um, that might be a possibility. That or maybe they're just a couple of pimps. I don't know. I don't know. I still think they're pimps. But like there's an alternative. Maybe they're law enforcement. Maybe this hotel is kind of like a honeypot trap kind of place. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. But he's like still eating a sandwich, and he says, oh, yeah, he gives him a command. Watson says, fine, like with that flat, like annoyed tone. Fine. Like I always have to do everything. Like everything you don't want to do, I have to do. Like that's what that tone says to me when he says the word fine. And then Jack says, oh yeah, okay, cool. Like I'm going to go collect my family. Collect. I don't like that word. I don't know why he uses that word, but collect is usually what you do to a dead body. I mean, if there are any people who are watching this movie who are not from the United States, or who like English is not your first language, like yeah, that's the word collect is when it's in reference to people, it's usually in reference to bodies. When they say somebody's dead, and then like the ambulance or the whoever comes to collect the body, that's the verbiage used in that situation. So he says, wait, I'm going to go collect my family. um Interesting. And I think this is also the exchange where Jack says, my son Danny has discovered the games room. And when you see the games room, when we get to that part, you're going to be like, games room? Yeah, games room. Yeah, so they're going to go get ready to give the Torrances a tour of the hotel and show them their apartment. And they just say, we're going to go show you your apartment where you'll be staying. And then Jack says, okay, cool, let me go collect my family. Now let's go back a couple of slides because I need to address that magazine. And why it's right there. Like it's right there on the chair, the magazine. But I want to show you, like before Jack got up, he was reading the magazine and eating his sandwich. Okay. Typical American sandwich on sliced bread. That's what we do in this country. Those of you who are not familiar, if you're watching this in other countries, that's what we eat here. Sliced bread. It's a little better now. Food is getting a little bit more interesting, but I don't know. Sliced bread was the way to go for years and years and years. So let me address this magazine, okay? I found this. Biblio. I'll leave this link. If you want to buy a copy of this, Biblio is selling it for $1,800. I don't know why you would want this, but, there you go. There's this. Okay, and there's interview, the selling of Starsky and Hutch's, David. So, and then this. I'm not even going to say it because I'm already not monetized, but I don't want my channel to get totally shut down. So you can see what I'm circling here. I'm not gonna say that out loud. But yeah, that's the part that so many shining researchers and analysts focus on. Okay, and I can see why they focus on it. Because it's like the most scandalous thing on this cover. They have the rundown of the articles that are inside the magazine. Listen, there's other articles in this issue of this magazine. All right, there's this one. This one that I can say out loud without worrying about getting my channel shut down. How your tax dollars give new identities to convicted criminals. Long pause. That might be another reason why Stanley Kubrick chose precisely this magazine, and not just this magazine, but this issue of this magazine, to have in Jack's hands as he's reading, or as he's eating his sandwich in the lobby with no lights on. This is, note the date of this magazine. I don't know why this ad says January 1977, but the magazine itself says January 1978. It's a New Year's issue. It's a January issue. It even says Happy New Year down here. Okay. January 1978. So that got me to thinking, like, why did they want precisely this one? Why couldn't, when was this movie filmed? So, where's the thing? So I tried to find out when the movie was filmed, like what time of the year the movie was filmed. And where is it? Okay. So this article is interesting, and it's for people who are Shining aficionados. It's going to be very interesting to you. This article from AFI is a rundown of like everything that took place in the course of making this movie, like all the dates, right? Where is it? Okay, as reported. Okay, that's not what I'm here for. 1978. Okay. No. I'm looking, I'm sorry. Okay. A 14th of June 1978 VAR, I guess Variety news item, announced that Kubrick would shoot the film for Warner Brothers at EMI's Elstree Studios using 4 of the 9 stages. Although the news item added that filming was expected to begin in November, a 28th of December 1977 HR news item reported that production would start in 1978. Okay. Now, you remember that's the year on the magazine cover, 78. According to a 12th of May 1980 LAH exam news item, script problems delayed filming for 3 months. A 23rd of May 1978 HR news item stated that filming began in late May. However, an 18th of November 1978 Screen International production chart and a 22nd of November 1978 Variety news item reported that principal photography was in its 28th and 29th weeks, implying that the filming began in early May. Early May. Whether it was late May, early May, according to this whole thing, this article, it looks like they started filming this thing in May of 1978. Okay, and there's some good little other tidbits in this article if you're a Shiner. Okay, so in 1978 they were like publicizing Stephen King's forthcoming novel, The Shining. Okay, it had been purchased by Producers Group. As noted in November 1978 DVR, the novel was acquired in galley form and scheduled to be published 28th of January 1977. So this is also very interesting to me. It's not why I found this article, but this is interesting. So if filming began for the movie in May of 1978 and the novel was published in early January, in January 1977. What the hell? Like, what was going on here? Why did Stanley Kubrick choose precisely this novel that had been at the time published and released so recently? So in May of 1978, The Shining novel by Stephen King had barely been out for like not even a year and a half. This is so interesting to me. But I'm here like I said, I'm here to see like when they started filming. May 1978. And that brings me back to this. This magazine is from January 1978. They could have picked any other magazine. They could have picked if judging, I looked up the date of this issue of the magazine because I thought that would give me insight into like when they started filming. Did they start filming in January 1978? I guess not, because I did a little bit more digging and I found this, which I'll leave in the description. So January is January, May is May, January is the first month, May is the fifth month. So 4 months after this thing was available on newsstands in the United States, that's when they started filming. So 4 months after this magazine was available, they obviously, let me go back to the slides, they obviously made a point of including precisely this magazine in this movie. So whatever you're looking at was filmed in May of 1978. Who knows, maybe even later, because these scenes are not filmed, like from what I understand, from what I've read and whatever, movies are not filmed in sequence. Like a lot of times they'll film the last part of the movie first, which is interesting. So this might be even later than May 1978, but the filming began May 1978. The magazine was published and released in January 1978. Like, what's going on? What's going on? And that's number one, the chronology of all of that. Number two question that I have: why is he reading that magazine? Why is he reading that magazine? Precisely that magazine. Like, the people who like analyze and research this, some of them do amazing work. Some of them, sorry to say, like, it looks like they're doing amazing work. They make it look like they're just doing the most, but they're not. Because they're not asking questions. These scenes in this movie, like, force you, the viewer, if you're an inquisitive viewer, if you're the kind of person who's like really, really looking at this and asking a lot of questions, there's a lot of questions. And one of the questions that popped up in my mind that none of the analysts or researchers have addressed, as far as I can recall: why is he reading that magazine? They always say, oh, this is like Stanley Kubrick telling you something about Jack, which again, I won't get into that because I'm not going to get my channel destroyed. Maybe that's not right. Maybe that's not what Stanley Kubrick is trying to tell you about Jack. Maybe this magazine, the presence of this magazine, has nothing to do with Jack. He's reading it because he's reading it. It was there to read. I don't think, in my opinion, I don't think he brought this magazine with him to the hotel. He probably sat down to eat his sandwich and saw it there and picked it up and, like, started reading it. If it was a newspaper, he would have read a newspaper. If it was People magazine, he would have read People magazine. If it was whatever, like, he just needed something to read while he was eating there. I think the magazine was probably there when he sat down. There when he sat, maybe on the end table here or whatever, but it was there in the hotel when he sat down. That's my belief. So that's maybe answers the question why he was reading the magazine, because it was there. Okay, here's another question. That question leads to another question. Why was the magazine there? I don't believe he brought it with him from home. Why would you? And like most people would be embarrassed to have their new boss at their new job see them reading that kind of material during their first day on the job. Like, most of us would be like, oh no, I'm not even going to look at them. No, I'm going to be on my best behavior on the first day of my brand new job. But for some reason, he sees that magazine there, he reads it, and he doesn't seem flustered or embarrassed or whatever to have his new boss at his new job on his first day see him reading or looking at this material. And again, it was there. In my opinion, I think he's reading it because it was just happened to be there. Why was it there? What kind of place? People, listeners, viewers, people, what kind of place just has that kind of magazine just lying around in full view of anybody who happens to be there. Not a doctor's office. Like, they don't even have magazines at doctor's offices anymore. I don't know if you've noticed. They used to be everywhere. Younger people who are listening to this, and I know, like, there's some younger people listening to this, like college-age people, whatever, millennials, whatever you're called. There used to be magazines and newspapers in waiting rooms at doctor's offices, dentist offices, you name it. They're gone. And why were there magazines and newspapers and whatever, sometimes even books, in doctor's offices, waiting rooms, and all kinds of waiting rooms? Because people didn't have smartphones. People didn't have iPads or whatever, and they needed something to help them pass the time when they were sitting there in the waiting room. And that's what those magazines were there for. All right? Now, a lobby is a lobby. A lobby is where you come to a hotel and you sit down. Maybe you're waiting for somebody. Maybe you're waiting to, like, go up to your room. They're preparing your room for you. Maybe you're waiting for your taxi to leave the hotel. Like, that's the kind of stuff that goes on in a lobby. You don't just hang out there to just hang out there. There's always a reason to be hanging out in a lobby. Either you're waiting for one thing or another, usually. And if this thing was there in the lobby of this place on full view of anybody who might be there, like, what kind of place is this? What kind of freaking place is this where it's okay to have a magazine like that just hanging out on the coffee table or the side table or whatever? You know what I think already. You know what kind of place I think this is. It's the kind of place where this magazine would not stick out like a sore thumb. Yeah? I think this hotel and everybody in it is the kind of place where a magazine like that would not be shocking, because that's the kind of thing that goes on in this place. That's why there's no tennis court. That's why there's no skiing. That's why there's no swimming pool, no basketball court, no shops, restaurants, theaters, cultural attractions, nothing. No maze either. Maybe just in your mind, but never mind that. This is the kind of place where a magazine like that fits in perfectly, because that's the kind of thing that goes on here. Again, I won't elaborate any further. I've beat that dead horse so many times. You know what kind of place I think this is. And I'm just thinking, did I want to say anything else? Yeah, all these employees that we see walking by, young, attractive people. Make of that what you will. Okay, so he tells Watson to go do something. Watson says, fine, and goes and does it. Okay, I've covered the magazine thing. I didn't want to leave you hanging about that. He says, I'm going to go collect my family. Collect your family. Okay, Jack. All right, cool. Finishes eating up his sandwich. Okay, there goes Ullman. They're on their way. Yeah, and now look at this fade in. All right, so here's that guy carrying that rug or whatever it is again. My God. Up the stairs that, like, lead to nowhere. Again, people have done this part over here, this part back here. Those are stairs that lead to nowhere. People have done, what do you call it, blueprints or whatever of this hotel and how it should look based on the rooms that we see and the external and the internal, whatever. These stairs lead to basically a wall. There's nothing there. They don't lead to any upstairs area or nothing. So where is he taking this? What's going on? It don't make no sense. Okay, listen. I just don't know what to think. Okay, so they're off, right? They're off, and they're fading into another scene, right? And again, hold on, let me go back. The luggage is here. They're fading into another scene. And I said that luggage is kind of synonymous with people. That people occupy the same, like, status as luggage or other whatever inanimate objects in this movie. Okay, so the luggage is here. Now we're fading into this shop. Oh, look, another collection of people where the luggage was in this other scene. So I think I'm onto something. I don't think I'm totally wrong. Okay, again, young, attractive people. Mostly women, but also a man. So I guess that at this hotel, whatever they got going on, they cater to everybody of all tastes and persuasions and what have you. So let me just not say any more. But again, luggage, people. There it is. And here goes this elevator. It's opening up. So are we seeing this in sequence is another question that I have. So in this scene, I'm going to go back again. I'm sorry. In this scene, Ullman says, oh, we're going to show you your apartment. And then after he says, we're going to show you your apartment, we somehow end up here. Okay, this is not the apartment. This is the front area for the Colorado Lounge. Okay, and there's the people where the luggage was before in the other scene. And then there's a pool table with red felt. I think it's felt on a pool table. Okay, cool. And the elevator opens. All right, where am I? Okay, here comes Ullman. He's the first one out of the elevator. There comes another person. Okay, these stairs, do they lead to anywhere? I don't know. But these lights are on. Remember in the lobby, all these chandeliers were switched off? You could say, well, they've got plenty of natural light coming through these windows. Okay, cool. Whatever. But these are all switched on. The sconces, the chandeliers, same kind of chandeliers. I don't know if these are pagan in nature. I'm going to have to research these. Something's up with these. Something is up. This reminds me of something from that... What's that movie called? I think it's an Ari Aster. Is it Ari Aster, the director? The movie about this cult in Northern Europe, like far up Northern Europe. So for some reason, these remind me of something pagan, and they remind me of that movie. I'll have to research it. I will get back to you on that. And again, why do these things have to mimic candles? Why are these chandeliers? And the sconces too? Why do they have these fixtures, or whatever they're called, that mimic lit candles? Why can't they just be light bulbs, or some other shape, or what? No, why candles? Why freaking candles? I don't know. But anyway, here comes the elevator opens up. Stewart is the first one that steps out. As he steps out, here's this person here, another female figure, and then another female figure behind her. And they're walking out of the elevator. Okay, so more attractive young female people. Okay, cool. And as you can see, they're exiting the elevator. These people were the luggage, the luggage people, right? They're waiting for the elevator, which is interesting. Anyway, Stewart is walking in front of them. Then there's Wendy, then there's Jack, then there's Watson. So Stewart is in front of them. Watson is behind them. They don't want these two to wander off on their own. It's like they're herding sheep. That's what it looks like to me. They're keeping track of both of these two. Jack looks right at this group of people here, right? And then there's these women again. So these people are waiting for the elevator. These two women here, again, young, attractive women, are using the stairs. The stairs lead up, not down. Why are they going upstairs? What if they're leaving the hotel? They have their suitcases with them. And again, if a lot of stuff isn't making sense. If they work here, they're employees of this hotel. These are not guests. These are employees of the hotel. And they have and they work here, presumably. I don't know. But the opening season of the hotel is May 1st through October 1st. So that's 5 months out of the year. In 5 months, all you need is whatever can fit into one little suitcase. 5 months? I don't know if this is TMI or whatever, but in 5 months, that suitcase would be just for my underclothes. Just my underpants. That wouldn't be enough for all my underpants for 5 months. Just saying. My underpants, my oh dear. I don't know if I should get into like lingerie, socks. Like, yeah, no, I would need more than one little bag. So maybe these employees that we're seeing here are not employees that work the whole time for those 5 months. Maybe the employees like switch out. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. But this is so suspicious. And again, Ullman and Watson are making sure that they can keep an eye on Jack and Wendy. And as they're walking across this very shiny floor, this very highly, highly, highly polished, I think like parquet floor. Again, don't forget that this movie is called The Shining. All right, the floor is shiny. The floor is reflecting as above, so below. Good Lord. The light from these very odd-looking chandeliers. I'm thinking that they're the chandeliers, and the design of these chandeliers is meant to give you like a hint about something from the ancient pagan world. I have to look it up. So they're walking across this very shiny, polished floor. And of course, these photos, the grids of death. All right. And there's this sign over here. There's a sign that is maybe promoting or advertising something, an activity of some kind at the hotel. If you enlarge this in these red letters in the center, like above this little picture in the center, there's the red letter. It's called a camera walk. Okay. Now, why is that there? Not for, the people in the world of the movie who either live at or work at or whatever this hotel or visit it, or no. That's there for us. That's there. Stanley put that sign that says camera walk. And you can, I don't have the best vision. I need glasses to read stuff. And even I can see that those red letters, by the way, red letters say camera walk. So the camera walk is not necessarily meant for the people in the world of this movie. It's meant for us, the viewers. Stanley is letting you know he's taking you, him, the director, is taking you, the viewer, on a camera walk of the hotel, like during this tour portion. All right, the tour has begun, right? We were in the lobby a minute ago with the sandwich and the magazine and the whole thing. Now we are starting our tour of the hotel. And this is maybe Stanley's way of saying, like camera walk, he's letting you know, this is Stanley's way of saying to the viewer, hey, pay attention. I'm going to give you a layout of this place. I'm going to give you a layout of this place. Pay attention. Make sure you keep an eye on everything. And ask yourself, Stanley is saying to the viewer, ask yourself these questions. What I show you, does it make sense? Does it makes sense? The layout of this hotel, the way the space is organized, the appearance of the furnishings, the furniture, the table, the seating, the tables, whatever objects that you see as you're walking through, camera walking through the hotel. So you can't walk through it physically because you're a viewer looking at a screen, but Stanley's saying, I'm taking you on a camera walk. The camera, Stanley Kubrick's camera that's filming this movie, is visually taking you on a walk of this place. And he's begging you. Throughout this whole movie, there are several parts, several instances, several points where Stanley is more or less saying to you, the viewer, pay attention. You don't know it while you're watching the movie. You don't know it. At least not right away. But he's testing you. He's testing you at every step of the way. He's testing you to say, hey, viewer, are you paying attention? You should be. And he does little things like turn the volume up, like 1/3 or so of the way through the movie to shock the shit out of you. Like while you're doing your paperwork or whatever, and you realize, oh my God, how did that volume get so loud? I didn't touch the remote control. I talked about that a little earlier. He does little things like that to get you to snap to attention. And here's the camera walk. He's taking you on a camera walk. Shiny ass floors. Okay. All right. And these people, these young, attractive people, you know what I think they are. in the world. It's never said out loud. It's never said out loud, but that issue of that magazine just lying there in full view of anybody, tells you what kind of place this is, right? And again, I noted, I made a point to mention this. I said, where are the children in this hotel? When Jack did his interview, it was like when the hotel was open to guests. There were no kids anywhere. None. So this is not a family-friendly place. And of course, it's not a family-friendly place if they got magazines like that lying around. Okay? Okay, let's keep it moving. So they're walking, and he's explaining like the decor or whatever. And he says a combination of more grids of death. He says it's a combination of what did he say? Navajo and Apache Indian decor, which is interesting. And yes, the Navajo and the Apache, whatever tribes he mentions, I think that's the two he mentions. Yes, they were in Colorado. I checked. So they're walking through, and they make a point. Well, Stanley, makes a point of showing you as they're walking through that doorway, entering the Colorado Lounge on this side. He makes a point of like panning past one of these grids of death. Okay, these are all black and white photos of presumably people who have visited the hotel before. Prominent, famous, celebrity kind of people who have visited and stayed at the hotel before. I don't know what to think about that. I mean, was this place always a brothel? Or did it start out with a nice, clean kind of situation and then like devolve into a brothel? I don't know. And you know, the current owners or managers of the Overlook in this movie, are they resting on their laurels as a place that used to be respectable? I don't know. I can't answer those questions because I don't know. Are there hints? Is Stanley giving us hints about the fact that so many of these black and white photos, these very plain and plainly framed black and white photos, also what one person, can't remember who it was, but they did a good blog. He called them the grids of death. Maybe I should just look up the term grids of death and keyword search that with The Shining. Maybe I'll find it. But yeah, he kept using that term, grids of death. These are all dead people in the black and white photos, allegedly, according to this guy. The black and white photos, even at this time in history, denotes something that happened in the past. They're old. They're old. So the photos were created at a time when color photography wasn't necessarily not available, but like way too expensive. So people just, if they did photos, they did black and white ones. So maybe that's what's going on. But these are all like people who used to visit the hotel or who had visited the hotel in the past. So they finally stepped into the Colorado lounge, is it? And you see this furniture. This here on the left, let me go one more further. This is the desk that Jack Torrance will turn into kind of his office desk for his writing. He's going to put the typewriter there and his box of paper and his pens and his typewriter eraser. And there's going to be, I think, even a bigger lamp here. I don't know. So yeah, this is going to be his writing station. So, and we got an American flag here, which, why? I don't know why, but it's there. And it's there, and we have to question why it's there. Why would you put an American flag in a lounge in a hotel? Like, why wouldn't you put that outside the hotel? I don't know. I don't know. We got stained glass with more designs on it. Again, people have done blueprints. They have sat down and they've done blueprints and figured out the plan of this building, the hotel. And you can very easily find this information if it interests you. It does interest me, but it doesn't interest me as much as just visually analyzing this as you go along the movie, what the pictures are showing you. Because, like, figuring out the plan, the blueprint of the hotel, that takes some doing. And I don't know whether or not Stanley Kubrick expected any of his viewers to sit down and do an architectural plan, a blueprint, figuring out whether or not the hotel spatially is even possible or makes sense. So, but people have done this, and I think I've read an article. Don't quote me, but if you're interested, please go look it up yourself, keyword search it, whatever. Maybe even the windows in this room are impossible. Okay, so, not just the false window in Ullman's office, but these two. But I'm not sure, so don't quote me on that. So they're walking through, and like I said, Kubrick is taking us on a camera walk. He's letting us know how this place should look. He's letting us know where the furniture should be. Okay? And as you go, there's another maintenance man or mover or whatever. There's another worker here. I'll go ahead, and then there's this random ass woman walking across the foreground of the screen. Really? Again, this is not a continuity error. This is not sloppiness on Stanley Kubrick's part. This person, this woman, again, you know what I think she is. Just sauntering across the foreground of this shot. I guess maybe it could be interpreted as sloppy filming, but no, Stanley Kubrick doesn't make mistakes. This woman is here. Maybe her presence is reminding you where you are, what this place is. I don't know. And then there's people who have this theory, and I know some of you are all up in my comments, and I welcome you and I thank you for being there. I enjoy reading your stuff and thinking about what you write so much. Somebody said, okay, the real thing that's going on in the movie is that Jack is an author, he's writing a novel, and this caretaker character, right? Jack is the caretaker of the hotel in the real world, in the world of the movie, but he's writing a novel inspired by the hotel, and that caretaker character in his novel is based on this guy over here, because he's wearing, if you blow it up, if you really zoom in, he's wearing the same colors that Jack is wearing later in the movie, the burgundy jacket and the blue jeans and whatever. I don't agree with that. I don't. Maybe I can get into why some other time. We're almost, oh my god, it's an hour and 51 minutes, and I've been talking almost 2 hours. I have no idea whether or not this video is going to take. Let's hope for the best. But while I'm here, and this is where that part of that comes from, people point to this as evidence that that's the real theory. That's what's really going on. Jack's writing a novel. For some reason, maybe I'm stubborn, I don't know, but I can't get on board with that. That for some reason doesn't compute for me. Yeah, I understand, this is, maybe this figure, or this maintenance man figure with the same color clothes as Jack had later in the movie, it's there to alert us to something. Kubrick is alerting us to something when he puts somebody like that here and somebody like this over here. Okay, so what's going on? I don't know. But it's a possibility. It's maybe, my theory is, my theory. It's not necessarily my theory, but I'm building off of something else. The Wendy is crazy theory. Maybe Wendy saw this same figure too. She has eyes. Yeah? She walks past. And we've seen a little bit of how her mind works, by the way. When Danny says he's hungry, and Jack says you should have eaten your breakfast, her first thought is the Donner Party. And the Donner Party, like I said, is synonymous with cannibalism. That's her first thought after her child says, I'm hungry. So, maybe she saw this guy too. And maybe, she... Whew. Oh, wow. I'm having an idea. since in that part of the movie where Jack is wearing the colors that this worker is wearing, maybe that whole part of the movie. Oh, wow. Maybe the whole part of the movie where Jack is wearing these colors is all emanating from Wendy's mind. Maybe that whole part of the movie just never happened. Like, not one single solitary second of it. Maybe all of that is the inside of Wendy's head. Whenever you see Jack wearing the burgundy jacket and the blue jeans and the Timberland boots or whatever he's wearing, maybe that's all Wendy's mind. Oh, I'm gonna have to work on that, but that's the Object of Art exclusive. Think about it. Let me know what you think. But anyway, we're doing our camera walk through the Colorado Lounge. We got workers moving furniture. We got this random woman here. We got this worker over here, dressed like Jack's dressed later in the movie, working on like this bookcase or whatever this hutch is. And you could barely see him, by the way. He blends right in with the furniture. Like I said, in the world of this movie, in this hotel, people are synonymous with luggage and or inanimate objects. Yeah, he kind of drives that home with this guy back here. Drives that idea home, right? And they're walking through and they're talking, and the man is moving the chair, this club chair, whatever, and he's mopping, lots of mopping. So it's not even like really mopping, like there's no bucket anywhere, but he's just like dusting or polishing the floor. These floors have to be shiny. Like I said, the movie is called The Shining. These floors, these parquet floors, have to be very nice and shiny. Like I said, as above, so below. We have that in the beginning of the movie. The opening shot of the movie tells us as above, so below. And if you're a researcher like I am, you know what that means. Another thing I wanted to point out before I close this out, I don't want to go more than like 2 hours talking. Look at these couches. Look at them. Look at them. This one over here, that one over there. They look old and lumpy and dumpy, and they look like a whole preschool full of children has been jumping up and down on them, like messing up the pillows, the springs, everything. These are not new couches. These have been there for quite some time. They've been used for quite some time. The decor in this hotel is not first-rate decor. And I know, like, maybe it's hard to tell because it's like the 70s or what. No. You can tell when a couch has been sat on one too many times. It gets all funky looking like that. Look at these lines. Look at how uneven these cushions are. That's an old-ass couch, if I ever saw one. Anyway, they're walking through the Colorado Lounge. I don't know what dialogue is going on, but I'm kind of more interested in the visual here. They're being led through this enormous room that is, I guess, a lounge. So a lounge is a lounge. A lobby is a lobby. We were just in the lobby. This is not a lobby. This is a lounge. This is where people hang out and talk and maybe have drinks or whatever. I don't know. Potentially false windows. Lights are on. Candles, flames, or, the light bulbs that are supposed to mimic candle flames. Okay, the maintenance man, the worker, the woman that walked across. Camera walk, camera walk, camera walk. We're supposed to be paying attention. We're supposed to be paying attention. Okay, we're almost there. We're almost at the very end. Look at all the shininess in this room. This light, allegedly natural light. It might not be. These might be false windows. I'm not sure. And the light coming from these windows is being reflected off of this shiny-ass floor. Okay, and this is it. This is my last slide. We've gotten to, just right to minute 21. This covered minute 18 to minute 21. And that's that for this installment of Understanding the Shining on the Object of Art. Understanding the Shining, Part 7. You guys, I have just talked and talked and talked and talked and talked for almost exactly 2 hours. I hope I said something. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know if I missed something or I could have done better. Gonna reiterate, if, new viewers, thank you for being new. Returning viewers, thank you for returning. Subscribers, thank you for subscribing. If you liked what you see, like, comment, subscribe, share, tell a friend, let them know if you think they might enjoy something like this. I appreciate all of you, even the ones who are hate watching and leave comments that like YouTube censors out so I don't even get a chance to see them. That's okay. Thank you for being here. So you guys, I think I've done everything I can do. I feel like I missed something, but if I missed something, I'll cover it in my next Shining related coffee break video. So until then, you all, thank you for being here. Thank you for coming back. Thank you for hopefully coming back again next time. And until next time, until I find yet another reason to talk at you, make a video, and not let you live in peace. Until next time, I will go ahead and bid you bye-bye. So, bye-bye, everybody.